What's good, people, traders, and dedicated gold chasers? Welcome back to the Modern Day Trader and another weekly video with your boy, Marcy. So today we're doing the exact same thing that we did last week. We're running through the charts and we're looking at the opportunities that we could have taken. And this week we have something to actually look at with last week occurring, and we saw the observation that we saw on the charts essentially. And this week we basically tested it. We tested the observation, and these are pretty much the results that you can see from that particular observation. So now what you can see Monday, you can see the price action was making higher highs. So we formed this higher low or lower low, then we made a higher high. We then had a pullback in Asian session, right? And my whole determination was that if we get an impulsive push to the upside in Asia, then we will be fine. Now, initially, the fib levels were from here all the way to there. So we were initially looking for entry around these areas, but remember, you can only enter in London session. Now the reason why these blue and yellow areas are here, it's just so that I can show you guys easily, and it's easily identifiable where Asia and where London is. Now just to give you guys a bit of a background, the observation last week is that if we have an impulsive push in Asian session, there is a high likelihood that we're going to get a pullback or retracement into the 61.8 fib area, and then after that we will get another impulsive leg into at least the zero area, which is basically equal highs or equal lows on your Fibonacci. Now, whilst I am still trading the other way, where price action comes all the way into your point of interest, you'll see that this is where this happens, or it occurs when price action will not pull back all the way into your point of interest, right? So just mentioning that, you saw the initial fib, right? So then Asian session happens, and you can clearly see we have an impulsive bullish push to the upside. And when that happened, you can also see that price action had actually broken structure to the upside to forming a new higher high. So what that essentially means is that you can now pull a new fib from this low all the way to that low, right? That high, sorry, right there. And then we just take it all the way across, all the way across, all the way across. And now what you can see is that price action made this impulsive leg. We had the retracement, and thereafter price action had an impulsive push to the upside to finish the move, and that's a total of 3% on the day. Stop loss goes below previous higher lows, and then we just anticipating that price action will continue. Now it's a pretty simple take profit method. We go break even at 1-to-1, take 10% off at equal highs, 20% off, a further 20% off at 1-to-2, and then we take the rest, which would be 70% at a 1-to-3 level. Now we're moving on to Tuesday. Now Tuesday, you can clearly see that we had a high being created in the market. Then within Asian session, you can see there is an impulsive push, nothing too major. Impulsive push, breaking bearish structure. So we broke this last higher low, pushing to the downside. Now what that essentially means is that my point of interest entry would be all the way up there. Clearly you can see that the chances of that actually happening in London session is low to no chances of it happening. So what I simply did was I took the high, I took the low of the session, and I anticipated the price action was going to pull all the way back into the 61.8 area. Now as you can see in the London session, from about 8 to quarter to 12, 11, price action had failed to reach that 61.8 area, and that was it. We deleted the limit order, and we said we'll come back the next day, and that's all it is. You can identify the impulsive push, but if price action does not pull back into your magnetized area or your point of interest, you don't really want to be a sitting duck for price action to pull back with momentum all the way to the upside and then end up taking you out on a pullback or even on a shift of structure, as you guys can see. So price action then shifted structure. Now this to me was not a clear area of or clear impulsive push, but even if you did want to place a fib on here, I think you would have gotten a 1-to-1 with this push to the upside here, because your stops would have been below these lows and it came very close to equal highs, which means then you would have gotten a break even at least. But to me, this is not a clear impulsive push, as well as Thursday. So for Wednesday, Thursday, there's no clear trades in the market. Here we just have a ranging market, and this is not necessarily a full-on ranging market, because you can clearly see we're still making higher highs and higher lows prior to London session. So we could have anticipated for price action to push up. Now, I initially did look for point of interest trades out of this point of interest, although I wouldn't necessarily call it a point of interest, just because there's no clear imbalance left when the initial impulse happened to the upside. So I just left it, just because it didn't really meet my criteria for Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday, as I mentioned, we are clearly stuck in a range, and I just noticed this by clearly just marking out Asian sessions times and then looking at whether we have an impulsive push or if we're just not moving. And you can clearly see that we are not moving. And relative to other days, look at Asians, even on Wednesday. If you look at Asian session on Wednesday, there's a little bit more movement, but look at Tuesday and Monday. Monday we have a clear push all the way from Asia into early London session. We have that clear push before coming down. Tuesday we have a very big push on Tuesday. Now these movements here that are very small, especially when it don't break structure to the upside, it's just a clear indication that, okay, let me stay out of the market for the time being. Then Friday, what do you see on Friday? So bear in mind, at this point we are already up 3%, and now what you can see is the price action had actually broken to the upside in Asian session with a lot of impulsive momentum. Then we push to the downside, and we actually break to the downside too, and that to me clearly indicated that there's potential for price action to continue to the downside, right? So I said we created liquidity up here above these highs right here. We then push to the downside to create more or collect more liquidity. I'm telling myself that if we do pull back into the 61.8 area, that we should then continue. So this was the fib that I had, right? And as you can see, it was triggered right here, and then we went break even around these areas right here, 300. You can see that I didn't even get to take a 10% off from these areas, just because my equal low area wasn't triggered just yet. Now yes, we got very clear, like very close to actually creating those equal lows, but unfortunately we didn't actually catch it, so I couldn't take off 10%. We then price action then pulled back, took me out the break even, and it just is what it is. And then when we came back all the way into this point of interest, you can clearly see that we have no 15-minute bearish candles to then say that we are pushing bearish from that point. So I just stepped away, and those are the two trades that I took, a 3% and a 1%. And we're just going to continue watching the markets. The 1st of Feb is very close. It's about a week away, and we will have a finalized plan by then, and we will be live in the markets at that point again. So I am very excited for this approach that I actually discovered on my own, just watching the markets and going through the markets. And that's why it's important just to go through the markets, go through your results, go through everything that you have, and then you can note what works, what doesn't work, and then from there you can make a solid plan moving forward, right? So guys, please don't forget that your unmatched perspicacity coupled with your sheer indefatigability makes you a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. If you enjoyed this video and you took the time out to watch it, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and join me for this journey and for the next one. From your boy Marcy at the Modern Day Trader. Peace out and a profitable week ahead.